With the last presenters, we have Terry Nevins from Global and Gail McCaskill.
Thanks, Sam. Morning, everyone. On behalf of Gail and myself, we've been sitting for a little while, and we're not leaving, you're not getting up, so we're not doing the stretches, but we're going to watch another video because that's almost as good.
Hey, I really need some more of that stuff you got me last week.
Hey, not here.
I know, but I got this deadline and I'm really stressed and I need it bad.
Okay. Shh, follow me.
Okay.
This is the last time I'm doing this.
I need 20. I really need 20.
Hey, you're busted.
Nothing.
Hold it right there. Hand that paper over right now. Give me that. Sherman, put this into evidence. You paper pushers make me sick.
Please let me have some paper.
And we have to thank Riel for these video bits and Dumtar. Thanks so much. So, Gail, you and I are co-hosting this portion of the event.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you go through, and you did the topics up here, so could you just do a...
Oh, just go over them. We'll hit.
Just go over them. It's somewhat self-explanatory, categorization, the attributes. So you've kind of done the fun part of the day. So I know I've been very impressed with the speakers, and more so what they had to say. So that was the objective here today. Hopefully, each and every one of you to think about your own businesses, think of where they're going, and how you're going to move the ball. And it sounds like data is an important part. And it's not just our industry, it's every industry, as has been said. So as Gail and I move through this part, it could be categorized as a little dry and a little dusty, because we're going to talk about data. And you know, that's pretty dry and dusty stuff.
That's true.
But we hope you sort of have the merits of what is required here, and so we need some dry and dusty. And we're not going to be that bad, but so you have to pay a little attention and give us a little grace, if you will, as we work our way through this. We've been hard at it for about 5 or 6 months to go from the data that COPA has been putting out over the last number of years, and now saying it has to be granular. So the categorization and attribute benefits, this is key. So if you don't have a good foundation, if you don't have the house pointing at the lake view that you want, you've got a problem right away. So this is where we've been spending our time, getting the foundation in place, and kind of now learning. What have we learned? What are we going to do with it? Strategic versus tactical, we've covered that off here and there this morning. We're going to drill down on that. Existing report summary, important. What do we have? And current, this is where we are. Where do we want to go? So as any project, it's a phase 1 to how many phases would you like to have? And in a large project like this, I think the phases will change as time goes on, and urgencies appear and directional changes are required. So that'll be like the future. What can we do in the future state? The benefits, obviously, that's why we're here. We're here to make money, grow our share, stay in business, have fun. So that's all part and parcel of this. And then right down to the data collection. How are we going to get the data? And even though COPA is kind of a non-profit association, we have to make some money at it to pay for it. But it's going to be much less than if we were to use a competitor in data collection like AC Nielsen, like much less, much less. So we have about 30 minutes here, and we're going to talk, Gail, a bit about benefits of categorization.
Thank you, sir. Can you guys hear me without the microphone? Everybody okay? All right. Just in case, I wanted to talk to you today about benefits of categorization. And important decisions are made daily based on uncertain information. Categorizations of products is an essential step to enable business to properly analyze, classify transactions and activities related to inventory and the sale and the purchase of goods and services. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. Categorization systems should be universal, providing a common language for manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, resellers, retailers, and dealers. COPA will not only provide the OP category and subcategory for each product, all right, but also the UNS, PSC, and GPC commodity codes. Future plans will include the additions of NAICS or NAICS codes and MCC codes. Does everybody understand what those codes are in the room? Does anybody in the room understand them? You do. Well, you don't count. Okay. GPC is the Global Product Code. Does anybody in this room contribute to or use GS1? Hello? Not one person? You do. You bet. GS1 is a universal organization where information is provided by manufacturers and distributors and vendors into a system which companies like Walmart and Best Buy use to check their product information for accuracy. All right, it's a big deal around the world, okay? The Global Product Code, all right, is also used by the Canadian government, all right? It's expected on many quotes, all right? It may not be for all these products, but it certainly is used. UNSPSC is the United Nations Standard Products and Service Code. It's far more robust than GPC, and that code actually traces its existence backwards, beginnings back to the grocery industry. So if I want to know what a commodity code is for a limoncello, I can give it to you, no problem. The NAICS codes is the North American Industry Standard Classification Code. All of you, some of the older ones in the room, you familiar with the SIC codes? All right, that's used by StatsCan, believe it or not. All right. The merchant category code is used by financial institutions, and it can not only give information on a purchase card, but it can also restrict the use of a purchase card by an employee of a company. So I can go and buy office supplies with my P card, but I can't buy a dress. Okay? The costs related to providing COPA members with a comprehensive categorization system are minimal versus the gains made in areas related to inventory, sales, and marketing. Categorization coupled with product attributes will enable COPA members to make rational business cases or decisions based on market, cultural, and competitive trends. And I'd like to ask you guys to give me an example of a cultural trend. Anyone? I like to walk, by the way, so I'll yell loudly. What's a cultural trend? Close. Okay, what else? Anyone else? Give me an example of a product that falls into that world.
Well, anything that you're advertising on YouTube.
Okay. What about the product itself? What is it Canadians do that's different than our counterparts in the United States? Anybody? We've embraced recycled product in this country. We have. Our kids do it. We do it. We recycle our garbage. I know in the town of Milton, I recycle my food that I don't use. This is a country that has embraced recycling, and we should be proud of that. But the United States is not. That's a cultural trend, and I think it's extremely important because it must be very, very difficult for the manufacturers in this room, all right, to go to their American head office or their European head offices and say, hello, we need that recycled pen. You know, there isn't any economy of scale for us. We have to be able to prove that this is something that's important to us. Okay, so let's go to benefits of attributes. Eric,
Got it.
Got it? You there? Thank you. He's driving. All right, so what is the obvious benefits? Well, the big one is product description enhancement. Let's face it, it's kind of strange out there. We're talking about the migration of correct data to internal systems and customer sites. If the description is the right size, because our systems are all limited in the number of characters they can handle, But wouldn't it be nice if we could just flip that information into a bucket and save a whole lot of time? Product market and trend analysis by OP category and subcategory, by vendor brand and sub-brand, by attribute definition. And I am no longer calling writing instruments a category. I'm calling writing instruments an attribute definition. All right, I'm switching this because we use the word category way too much in our industry. So we're going to call it the attribute definition. Paper will be another one. All right, that will be another attribute definition. We're doing it by the product attributes themselves. The beauty of this is for the very first time, we can put attributes in to any attribute definition that we want. The technology's there, it's pretty sophisticated, and we don't need to spend $1 million to do it. We can just do it. So by giving it a different worksheet in the SQL database. So now we're going to put paper in, and we're going to add every attribute of paper that both the manufacturers and the resellers will require to get information and sales and units on those products. Okay? So we're also going to be looking at, we can do by market trends and analysis, by recycled products, content if you wish, by certain certifications, Sustainable Forestry Initiative, or Industry is it initiative? All the sustainable SFI category products you want to see, you can instantly see. Okay? You're going to do it by packaging. You can do it by description. You'll be able to do this by any field housed in the database. Now, it would be a little strange to do it by UPC number, but potentially you could, if that's what you wanted. Due to the database flexibility, product attributes can be added, changed, or enhanced easily, allowing both the resellers and manufacturers to participate in attribute definition creation. For example, writing instruments. I've identified 5 with the help of one major reseller in the room, and with the help of Newell and Zebra and Beck. Everybody suggested something different, so I got to 5. Am I missing any, is the question I have, because now's the time to get those in. We're going to be able to, what attributes will be available to you for reporting purposes? Well, how many do you want? Without getting silly, how many do you need to do trend analysis and do your jobs? Okay? I want to tell you what I've learned so far is terrifying. Data entry and cleansing are considered to be a clerical task. High priority is given to the box or the field versus what goes into it. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? You know, we've spent a lot of money. IT is focused on that box. All right, where it goes, what its position is, how it relates to other boxes. Nobody seems to care what we dump in. The historical information goes into new systems all the time. The other thing I've learned is no 2 people in North America think or speak the English language the same way. I know, right? It's awesome out there. One description for one product by 10 different resellers will look 10 different ways. All right, it's awesome. It's also frightening. Manufacturer and distributor data was not developed to share with customers, and yet it is now a common expectation that the customer gets to see that information. Historical data, deleted items, and junk files are not routinely purged from the mainframe or the live files. I'm not sure why, but they aren't. So we have to deal with that data too. North American businesses have spent trillions upgrading hardware, software, and IT services, but very little money is spent on data. And if the money is spent, it's usually spent outside the company getting information in. Canadian firms are only using a fraction of the reams of data available at their disposal. Sam, did you bring that article?
We're going to send it. It'll be available online.
Yeah. Now this is about big data, and yes, big data is a little bit different than what we're doing today, but it's still the same thing. You know, we must spend more understanding data. That was from the Globe and Mail. A clean, dynamic industry base with categorization and attributes will lower cost. It's going to improve your profitability. It's going to prevent errors. It's going to save on resource costs. I call it that repetitive stuff that goes on. New customer quote goes in, go look up all the competitive numbers, put them on an Excel spreadsheet and bring them out. This is all going to be done. It will also enable effective, readable reporting and analysis for all industry segments. Categorization, attribute definition, and attributes selected for products must be flexible and industry-driven. Not going to be driven by COPA's need to make huge profits. It needs to be driven by the people in this room and those who couldn't attend today. So the manufacturers, the resellers, and all of the other players, even the service providers to our industry. Okay? Strategic. Okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with this. I'm gonna move around, by the way. So strategic data or information tells you where you are and where you're going. Tactical data and information will tell you how to get there. It's the GPS system. Okay? This is the basic cause and effect analysis coupled with potential resolution or opportunity analysis. Strategic data will also define threats to our business. Right, and I want to talk about that for a second. So, what's a threat to our business? Somebody give me an example, please. Yes, good one. What else? This is not the only man in the room. What's a threat?
Changing demographics.
Yes. Maybe another threat. Maybe a big one. You know what I'm talking about. Who's the other threat to this industry?
New players in our marketplace.
Yes. Huh? I didn't do that. Online is a big threat. These are threats. All right, so now there are those of you in the room who have heard that a huge general merchandise retailer is doing a beta test in the United States on same-day delivery. Hands up, please. Who's heard that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I've heard. I think it's pretty accurate too, because I heard it from a very, very good source. Does anyone in this room perceive that as a threat? I know if I was in the industry, I sure as heck would. I'd be terrified right now, especially if they do it successfully. Okay, another threat. It's kind of been out there for 20 years, though. Is the paperless office a reality? Say it loud.
No.
No. Of course it's not. But are we being impacted? Are we seeing the beginning of it now? Does anybody believe that in the room?
Sure, we're seeing the beginning of it.
Just the beginning. How long have we got?
It's going to be there, it just depends how.
10 years?
Someone said it's just a way to save money, it's going green and cutting costs.
Let's talk about two very good companies, strategically driven organizations who shall remain nameless, who provide information as their product. All right. Would those companies see what we're doing today as a threat? Heads up, heads down. Hands up, threat. 1, 2. Okay, 20%. So, what would you respond to the fact that this association is contacted by both of them? They're strategically driven companies, and this is what they do, guys. Right? They're reacting to what they perceive may be a threat. Right? One of them wants something, the other one wants everything. It's interesting. Okay? North American paper, all right, industry, manufacturing and cut sheet was down by 4.3%. Capacity has declined since 2005. Now, we've already talked the effects, file folders, hanging folders, filing cabinets, punches, staplers. I'm not going to go into that again. All right, I need some resolutions. I need resolutions from the resellers in the room, like Chris. What would you do, Chris? Papers down.
You really want to know the answer to that?
I do.
What actually happened is, one of the things I didn't mention is that 8 months ago, I moved over to manage the facilities.
Oh, well, what good are you?
My answer.
What would be the first obvious resolution? Too much. Lower inventory. Cut the product line. Lower the pricing. It's another way. Renegotiate your unit costs and your programs with your manufacturers or your vendors. That's one resolution. Now talk to me about opportunities. Somebody can give me an opportunity. What's an opportunity?
Raise your price.
Yes, it is. That's an opportunity, absolutely. What else?
Create new applications.
Huh?
Create new applications.
Yes, absolutely. I love that one. Love it. Anyone else?
Sell a better quality paper.
Absolutely.
Complementary products.
Possible? That's possible. It's actually a good one. Develop new products. Enhance and add listings. Don't delete, add. All right. You could go with new colors. Smaller packaging sizes for color. 200 packs instead of 500s. New services. You can do a service with it. Now, I know this is absolutely absurd, but please remember it's an example. Bringing in all the recycled paper that's been used. I know that's not going to happen. Or you can develop a long-term strategic initiative to become the last man standing. Okay? I want you to think clearly here for 1 second. Everybody in this room thinks strategically. Every one of you, okay? Tell me, and this is in your personal lives, by the way, not necessarily in your professional lives. So where are you getting that strategic information from today? Anybody? Where does strategic information come from? This is in your personal lives. You read it. Media. The internet. It's coming to you from your kids. Gee, Mom and Dad, my teacher's going on strike. Oh, goody. Strategic information. We all think strategically and we all think tactically at the same time. If it's strategic and it's a war in Bosnia, it does not affect us personally. We do not drop into tactical. We're empathetic and we're caring people in this country, but it doesn't affect us, so it stays up here, it doesn't drop. Okay, in the news, media, we had a bad drought this year. Okay, you read it. We didn't have enough rain. What does that mean? That's strategic information. Give me the tactical. What does it mean?
Food prices are up.
Pricing up. What else did it mean? You're not allowed to answer another one.
More importing.
I'm sorry?
More importing.
More importing. Absolutely. You know, stuff from Mexico. What else?
Quality is down.
Quality blew this year. Was I the only one, who was shopping? Tomatoes just weren't good this year. Corn wasn't as good this year. Okay, what else? So we got quality, we got price, we got quantity, right? The other thing that was missing was selection. We're already at tactical in our brains, all right, and we already know what the impact is going to be, and we're prepared for it. We buy canned tomatoes, all right, we pay more, all right, we wait until next year when we have a better season. All right, we're already there. So the question that I have is why aren't we doing it more with our businesses? Using strategic information, all right, looking at it for opportunities, looking at it for threats, and then using tactical information to help us guide to a solution or an opportunity. Okay, so the current state. COPA is providing its reseller participants with high-level reports based on a generic categorization system, such as writing instruments, and it has been shared with me that this is difficult to do, to get the information out quarterly. Acceptable in the early days, these reports provide a very high-level view of the category, but do not provide the detail needed for marketing and merchandising members to view trend analysis, COPA members are driving this project, not me. I'm working for you. It's everybody in this room that's driving this project. So, the future state, and I'm giving you a look-see here, and I can certainly share it in more depth with you a little bit later. But in addition to providing all the fields required to enhance data, all right, such as a clean description of the product, the proper vendor product code numbers, and in the case of Newell, with Prismacolor, there's actually two. There's the number that you've assigned to it, and then of course the number that the artist used to find it, because I use your products. I do a little bit of drawing on the side. So PM 135 means a great deal to me. All right, I need to be able to find that product again. So if there's two numbers, I can get them in for the manufacturers. You're getting clean description, you're getting proper company names, you're getting trademarks, you're getting registrations. But you're also getting new, change, and discontinued field and effective date. You're getting vendor unit of measure and quantity. So it's a reseller piece of information that you're sharing, that it is a package of 5, or it's a carded product of 8, or it's in each of 1, or it's a box of 12. All right, this is the lowest unit of measure in which this product is sold, basically. It's information. I have it broken out further up. You're getting the OP category and subcategory. Here's your OP category, rollerball, subcategory, stick. All right, there's a lot of different kinds of rollerballs out there, and we needed to get that in. So in other words, I will send every participant here what I've got so far, but it's not the end of the categorization yet. We're getting closer, but it's not totally complete. So I'm moving on. You're looking at the attribute definition, which is writing instruments, and now you are looking at 5 different attributes: the ink or write color, the point size, the line widths and diameters, the barrel color, and the grip. Have I missed anything, by the way? There's a lot of writing instruments folks here. Is that enough? Yeah? No? You're cringing at me. Okay. You're looking at oh, by the way, the barrel color, I had a bit of a debate with somebody on this. Barrel color works really well. Really, it's nice to have. I mean, I buy a pen for its right? But when you're talking about those high priced products, all right, the chiseled, that's where barrel color becomes important. It's a much bigger field for that reason, so it's going to have metallic, chiseled, or gold, or whatever. All that will be there. The brand name, the sub-brand name, the French description and French unit of measure, and yes, this whole database will be translated into French properly. All right, by probably year end, okay? The actual vendor suggested retail price, if you have it, I can put it in. The currency, description 1 or 2, and other information 1 or 2 is really used for, it's a package of 5, red, yellow, pink, blue, green. Okay, so that the resellers can now see that. Private item flag, MSDS, UNSPSC, we talked about that little number, there it is. The JPC number will be included, so none of you ever has to, again, dedicate resources to putting it in and filling it in for a government tender. Your URL, warranty indicator, recycled, pre and post content, all of the reseller information, the product code number and how they sell it, the GTN, the UPC, all right, the shipping, content unit of measure, which is the lowest way you can pretty much buy it, what's inside it, what the UPC quantity actually stands for, certifications 1 and 2, if I need to add 3, I will, recycling certifications, recycling package by percent, minimum order is in there, by the way, and the vendor. If the vendor wants me to put something else in this database that they need the world to see, I will get it there, okay? Such as it's a box of 12, but they all have labels, UPC labels on them, okay?
Now, how do you define recycled content?
By you tell me.
repeat the question yet?
Linda wants to know, Linda wants to know, I'm going to hurt myself with this thing, exactly how I define recycled content, and I don't define anything for your industry. All right, it must come from the vendor. Must. I have to have, I can't guess. I can't guess. I have to have the right information in there because that's important. Okay. So this is what the database looks like. Now, please keep in mind that this will be sorted, organized, hosted, and put up on site. You'll be able to download these products or go in and view these products or search for these products. And by the time we're finished, there'll be 75,000 of them in there. All right, this is just writing instruments. I've got 3 suppliers and I'm over 5,000 already. All right, when I put the rest in, it'll be 10. So this will give you some idea of just how deep this will go. It's a huge opportunity for the manufacturers, and it's a huge opportunity for the resellers to save some time. Future state. The way that I see my world is we're only limited by our own imaginations when it comes to what we need to see from the new COPA reports. The database will be hosted and available to all participating members online or as a download. Members will be provided a downloaded version of a pivot table which will allow them to view products by category, subcategory, attribute, definition, attributes themselves, or any other field that may be required. Now, it's a lot more daunting for me to go back and do it again when I've already done it. I've got, I think, 3 to 4 of you in the room today. Manufacturers and vendors of writing instruments. Please look at those attributes and tell me if I've missed anything. All right, as I say, it's a lot cheaper for me to do it once than it is for me to go back and do it twice. Okay? You can also look at things any way you want. You want the UNSPSC number, GPC number, the SIC codes, the old SIC or the new NACS numbers. Doesn't matter. Writing instruments will be followed, so I've been informed, by binders, binding dividers, and related products. From the resellers and retailers, does that work? Yeah? No? This is, believe it or not, you're the only people in the room who can drive a change to that. That's it. The resellers are the ones who will determine which way we're going to go and which way I'm going next. So it would be nice to know because I'd like to work on another one simultaneously to speed this up. Okay. Resellers will direct, products will follow in order of need, and the product attributes will be determined by working in concert with both the manufacturers and the resellers. It was actually a meeting that I had with one of the key retailers that put me on this path to begin with. You know, I was going to do 1 or 2 attributes, but that wasn't acceptable to that individual. They wanted more. So that's where we are. The current COPA industry reports, all right, will continue for 2013. They'll be reevaluated annually by participating members for relevancy, change, additions, or deletion. New reports can be made for members if required. They can be. We can discuss them. Customization based on specific member requirements will be made available for a reasonable fee, allowing a manufacturer or reseller to achieve even greater value to the information provided, such as adding your own sales dollars, sales units, inventory on hand. It doesn't matter what the report is. You can build it any way you want. Okay? I'm going to drive this thing. We are looking at the Pivot Resellers Report right now. Please, people, this is an example. This is early days, all right? This is to give you a high-level view of what we're capable of doing and how we can look at it. This will be changed and amended to the requirements of both the resellers and the manufacturers as time goes on. But it gives you a little bit of an idea. All right, so we've got the OP category and OP subcategory. By the way, all the numbers are not real. We made them up. Okay, just so nobody's panicking over at that table or anywhere else. Okay, we're looking at total of the entire category in sales, total by supplier in the sale. We're looking right now at all the instruments. I only put 175 in here, so Bob, if you can give me the view of assorted. Okay? Yeah. Click. Numbers now change. They change to reflect the assorted colors and the dollars attached to those assorted colors and the sales units assorted, and the percentage of market share that, for example, Staples, by the way, these are fake numbers, and Staples Advantage have each in that particular category. This is only the beginning. Now, if we can go to line widths and diameters would be fine. Take it off assorted. There we go. Go to bullets. Think so. And there's your product line in the low odor bullet tip, neon, original bullet tip, and washable. These are your numbers for Expo, high level, all right, and then by individual reseller and the percentage of market for each one. Now again, this is early days. This is what we can do, but we can do so much more. All right, it will not cost you a fortune. All right, it's going to be reasonably priced, and in time it's going to grow in depth for the purposes of market trending, for discontinuation, for additions, changes, opportunities, assessments, the promotional issues that we talked about, and how successful those promotions were. It's all going to be built in. Have I missed anything on this one? Let's talk about benefits, if we can go to that. I'm just going to hit some high notes here for benefits so I don't take up too much of your time. So you're dealing with the OP category and attribute-driven database, okay, to all members. Future reporting and customized reporting for resellers, retailers, and all of the players. Strategic reporting, all right, made available for a reasonable annual fee with the ability to provide custom report requirements if needed. So in other words, I may want to get into another business line completely, aka coffee. Flexibility to adapt to any new request or requirement made by the members. We're talking comprehensive B2B and B2C reporting. Increased COPA membership with perhaps non-traditional players joining in, such as Target and Walmart. Data alignment and on-demand reporting available in the future. Market share information is what you're going to see. B2B and B2B sales. Trends by attributes, categories, descriptions, pack types, any way you want it. Year-over-year data to determine product performance and life cycle, product gains and losses, forecasting, marketing, merchandising, and planning. Conduct customized reports for operational, profitability, and ROI. Enhanced decision-making. Cultural trends analysis, which are consumer-driven. Strategic data and information provided to all COPA members. Opportunity analysis and flexibility. And now you're on. So thank you all.
Thanks, Gail. Thanks very much, Gail. We'll move along quickly here. I only have a couple more slides. Just wanted to sort of go over who's on this data team. There's a lot of depth, as was shown by Gail, in the work that's been done already and where we're headed. It takes people to do that, and we're very fortunate. Sam's leading the project. He's worrying about the legacy reports, as I tend to call them, and he gets those out on a quarterly basis as required. Terry Nevins, that be I, and I'm on the board, and I'm helping out as best I can. Gail, you just heard quite a bit of what she's doing, and she really is an expert in data within our industry, which is a real AAA benefit to the association, and the ability to cleanse and vet the data and get it where we need to have it. A new addition is Bob Smith over here, who is going to be able to look at our reports as we start to get them created and interpret and make observational comments. Because what I've been saying all along is, great to have data. We all have reports dropped on our desk. We all have reports available. But unless someone does some of the heavy lifting, no one has time to really understand what you're looking at. So I'm saying to Bob, we got to put it into as much of daily parlance that we can and reflect larger picture and drill down as required within industry standards. So we have someone doing some interpretation for us here at Global. You'll be looking at the top views and kind of pulling in that Stats Canada and other resources to say we're not over here, we're not a little island and not worried about the rest of the world, because we all know the rest of the world is on turbo speed, and we used to call this the stationary industry. So it's the office products industry, it's products that are used within the office that has less paper, apparently. Kevin Taylor, just like where's all this data going, where is it being housed? New Zealand. Yes, New Zealand. So we, with the help of a COPA friend, gave us some direction, and we found a terrific person, and Skype's a wonderful tool, and right now the data's there. COPA has the capability of our servers and our software to bring it home, ET, when it's available to do so, but this is quite a work in progress. Neil Collins, IT maintenance, which is our own server that Sam works with and keeps the security in place and keeps us running. And Daryl Townsend, perhaps a name from the past within the COPA Association. So we have a writer and a graphic person available for us as we move this project along. A slide that kind of describes what we're doing. So on one side, you'll see reseller, the other side, you'll see vendor. And the legacy reports are really what the resellers have been providing, sort of a load sheet. Here's what Writing Instrument looks like at top level in the other categories. And we're drilling down and having the vendors help us get to that granular level. And there's many different sizes of COPA members, of course, from the very large to, you know, smaller folks. So on the reseller data, we're going to continue on the legacy fee schedule, because everybody's going to want to know how much. Nonprofit organization, why isn't it free? Well, we have some people in the room that are working hard, so if it's free, it's probably not that great. But we're not going to charge that much, and it'll probably be a tenth of what some of the other major people charge. So I think you're going to find it very, very good value. And as we work through the categories, we've really said what is affordable for everybody. So we're looking at a fee schedule, which will be an annual subscription for the vendors, of 3 tiers. So if you're buying the $700 per month tier, you're obviously not going to get the complete program and package that someone who said, I'll take the $1,500 a month tier. So we're trying to say, if you're a large organization, you probably have the in-house capability to absorb more data. Your smaller association member, we could give it to you, but you wouldn't be able to use it. You just don't have the in-house capability to digest it. So why not tailor it so everybody can have some data, and the association has some resources of data coming in and funds coming in as well. So it's a matter of looking at our membership profiles and trying to accommodate everybody. And as Gail mentioned, ad hoc reports, they're going to be available at a, as a chargeable item, an additional chargeable item. So the flexibility will be there. And when we're looking down the road, we want to get this up into a dashboard that's on the web. But that's not going to be tomorrow or this year, or 13, I should say. But it's not that far away, because this is very doable these days. We're not sitting 10 years ago where you had to have a whole IT department working for you. So where are we going? The next category is under discussion. Gail mentioned, filing supplies, binders. It has been thrown around, inkjet, toner supplies at the printer, load-ups, and others, of course. We've kept the committee, if you will, very small. So Sam and I have been really there, or we've been reporting to the board of directors of COPA and keeping everyone informed and getting their blessing and moving it forward in the basis of the funding that has to be there and the budgeting. and the revenue dollars that we anticipate coming in. You know what it's like, and you were probably familiar with the term skunk works. It's a little bit of a skunk works. It's a little bit like, just get it done, let's figure it out, let's get some right people in place. Gail's a key person, for instance. Bob is now another key person as we move this project along. So I think we're in good hands there as far as the horsepower side. But now, as was very evident this morning, the expertise that's within our industry is very professional and very strong and very wide-based. So where you've come from, how you entered in the industry, and you bring that to the party, as I call it. And we thank you for that. We thank you for the expertise that was brought to the podium this morning. But that's the expertise that we need to move this project along the lines of where it can actually go. So it's time to get involved. We do need the expertise that you have, and help us decide what are the next tacks and tracks that we have to take when it comes to data categories and data at large. So I would ask you to consider that as an offering to contact Sam. And we're not going to make a committee à large. We're going to keep it with experts and build it out as required. But it is time for you to consider your needs when it comes to data, which I might term your survivability in this new fast-paced business world, recession-driven, Amazon.ca world that we're living in. So subscribe to the data when the invite comes out to subscribe. Ask the questions. Join the COPA data team and create the data path. As has been mentioned by Gail, this is our data. It's our data to comprehend and our data to use. So I thank you very much this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Sam for closing remarks. And Sam?
Thanks, Terry and Gail. You did a great job. What we're going to do is, I know we promised to have you out by 11:30. We're a little bit behind right now. If you have to leave, that's fine. But what we will do is stay behind for 15 minutes and take some questions. We'll have the panel, I believe, or people that presented on the podium today are all still here. So if you have any questions, so first, if you have to leave, you can leave. If you have to step out for a minute, by all means. But if you do have any questions, we will take questions at this point in time, and we can do that for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Does anybody have any questions for us?
How did you enjoy today?
Oh, how did everybody enjoy today? Well, how did you find it overall? Yes?
Sam, what's the timetable as you see it, have it complete?
Well, we're almost complete with the writing instruments, so we should be able to have writing instrument. We are going to be selling writing instruments probably by the end of December. Definitely will be ready by first quarter of, the reports will all be ready by the end of the first quarter of 2013. And then, as Gail mentioned, we are eager to start to work on our second category, which, again, we're looking for feedback what that category should be, and looking for our members to tell us exactly where we need to be. The key thing is building the engine and making sure all of the resources and the proper people are on board, and I hope from what you've seen today, we definitely have met those needs. So once we have the engine built, then we can start to put it out there and see what the response is, and to make sure that we're heading in the right direction. Any questions? Great. You know what? We're going to be here for a little while. We're going to be here for 15 minutes. If you want to approach anybody that was speaking today, by all means do so. If you want to send me an email, you can do that also.